Hello, in today's Esri UK housing video series, we'll be showing you how you can share your data with your colleagues. As with the last video, we require ArcGIS Pro, a creator license, title info data, and Ordnance Survey master map data. The additional thing that we need is access to an ArcGIS online account. And if you were to follow along the first two videos as well as this one, it should take around 20 minutes. So let's get into the tutorial. The video kicks off where the last one ended, so we should have an ArcGIS Pro project that shows the breakdown of your land ownership and the land use classification for the area that you are responsible for maintaining. In this video, we will be uploading this project into ArcGIS Online as a web map, and then we're going to share this map in an application that is simple to use and can be distributed to colleagues to understand land ownership. So let's start by creating a new map view in ArcGIS Pro, as I don't want to upload all of the layers in my current project to ArcGIS Online, especially as I've got some pretty big data sets in here, so I only want to upload the relevant ones that I'd like my colleagues to see. I'm simply going to use the copy and paste function to bring across the layers that I would like to publish to ArcGIS Online. I'm going to copy the surrounding ownership data layer, as I would like for my colleagues to be able to see who owns land around my housing association's land. And obviously I'm going to bring in Ordnance Survey's master map clip layer, as this is the land use classification data for land that my housing association is responsible for. I'm going to then rename this layer to land classification, just so it's easier for my colleagues to understand. And finally, I'm going to copy in the title info filtered data, just so we can see my housing association's land ownership just in a polygon without any additional symbology, so that we could then use this to identify quickly what land my housing association is responsible for maintaining versus ownership in the surrounding area. So now that I've brought these data sets in, I'm just going to quickly reorder them. So now that I've brought the data sets that I would like to see in ArcGIS Online into this new map view, I can go ahead and share this with my colleagues. To do so, I'll click the Share tab at the top of the page and then click Share as Web Map. At this point, I can configure all of the details for how this item will appear in my ArcGIS Online account. For example, the map name, the summary, and the tags. So I recommend that you follow the usual procedures for how you would label this information in your organization's data. I'm able to select the type of configuration that I'd like this map to have, whether edits are able to be made, for example, or simply providing a view of the data. So today I'm just going to click Exploratory, but please select the one that's relevant to your organization. I can now determine the folder that the map will be saved in. So in this example, I'm actually creating a new folder in my ArcGIS Online account from within Pro. Now that I've created this folder, I can determine the sharing levels. So there are three different sharing options. Everyone, which will make the layer public facing. The second is to share it at the organizational level. Thirdly, we can share it with any groups that we have in ArcGIS Online. If you don't click any of these options, the map will automatically just be shared to yourself. So today I've gone ahead and clicked organizational level because I'd like my colleagues to see the map. We'll then go ahead and analyze the upload. So as we can see, I've simply had to tick a box to enable this upload to be able to proceed. Analyzing it again, we can see that there are no errors or warnings, so I can now publish this layer up to ArcGIS Online. So, jumping into ArcGIS Online, I can now see that this map, plus the subsequent feature layer and surface definition, have been published into the folder that I had predetermined with the sharing levels that I'd also predefined. So if I go into the web map, I can now explore details such as the different layers that we had in Pro that it's brought through. And if I click on them, I can see all of the information about the underlying data, in this example, OS Master Maps topography layer, and then I can visualize this data through the Data tab. So I'm going to open the map that we were viewing in Pro simply now in ArcGIS Online. And as we can see, it's brought through all of the symbology and even the zoom level that we were looking at in Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly just update some of the symbology. For example, the surrounding ownership is currently broken down by the proprietor categories, but I would actually just like to change this to a single styling option so that my users of this application could see simply what my housing association owns and in a completely different color if there is surrounding ownership that is not for my housing association. When we're in ArcGIS Online, I'm also going to be updating the pop-ups so that whoever clicks on the different features and layers to understand the details about the data within the application that I'm going to make can see a specific type of view of the data. So I'm going to change the title of this pop-up to show that the owner is automatically going to update to reflect the proprietorship category 1. So to see this in action, I can go ahead and now click on a new feature and it will automatically pull through. In this example, it's the local authority as the owner. So we can quickly get a glance for whoever's viewing this data as to who owns the land. With the symbology, I'd actually like to change the transparency so we can still bring through understandings of the base map underneath the data when we're visualizing it. Now that this is updated, I can go ahead and start editing the other layers. So this is the layer for my housing association's ownership. Again, I'm just going to be changing the color and symbology very quickly. So now we can clearly distinguish between the orange and green colors on the screen, who owns what land. As this is really important when understanding, maybe we're getting a request from a tenant to say that there's a broken fence, for example. By looking at this application really easily now, we can see whether it's within the remit of the land that my housing association is responsible for maintaining. And finally, I can update the pop-up for the land classification data from Ordnance Survey's master map. If I wanted to, I could deselect some of the fields that are going to appear in the pop-ups as they may not be as relevant to the data that my colleagues might be exploring. When I'm happy with that, I will just press X. And now I'm ready to go ahead and create an instant application for my colleagues to view this data. This is the default level that I would like for my application to open on, so I'm just going to go ahead and save the map with this current view. Once that's saved, I can create an app, and in this case, I'll be using an ArcGIS Instant app. All I would like my users to do for this application is to simply click on pop-ups and explore the data. So I'm going to be using the basic template. With ArcGIS Instant Apps, the idea is that you can go from map to app in just 5 minutes, and we're going to see just how we can do this using the step-by-step guide to create your instant app. I can simply toggle on and off different functionality that I would like included within the map. For example, I'm going to have my pop-ups always positioned in the bottom right corner when somebody clicks on a point on the map. I'd like to enable my layer list because I would like for my colleagues to be able to turn on and off the data layers, for example, allowing them to look at OS master map as we're doing currently. And I'm also going to enable the screenshot functionality. Now selecting a theme, I can go ahead and bring some simple colors into my application and reshuffle where my widgets are positioned on the page. Once I'm happy with how my application looks, I can go ahead and then publish the app. As you can see, the sharing levels will automatically be shared to just the owner level. But as I've mentioned, I'd like to share this with my colleagues, so I'm going to select organization and simply republish that to update it quickly. Once my app is republished, I can click launch to go ahead and see what it would look like for the end user to explore and interact with this app. If I click on one of the features, we'll be able to see the pop-up with the configured title that I had predefined within the map viewer. As we can see, we're clearly able to distinguish the difference between my housing association's land ownership and the surrounding land ownership by zooming into the level of detail necessary to the user. If we overlay then Ordnance Survey's master map onto the screen, we can then see the pop-up that has been pre-configured to view attributes from the underlying data. Now using the screenshot widget, we can see how this would work in action. So I'm able to select an area of the map that I would like to take a screenshot of. I'm able to also include pop-ups and the legend if I would like that to be created within the screenshot. And then I can give the screenshot a title and then download it. Opening this download, so we can go ahead and then include this in any reports necessary or send this to any other colleagues. And there you have it. We've shared our data with our colleagues in ArcGIS Online, having published it from ArcGIS Pro, and we've successfully created an application which my colleagues could then use to view and understand ownership and land use.